Recently, we have been talking about the women in the arts industry, with movements such as Time's Up and Me Too. In fact, female artists do have to deal with a lot of pressure from the society and from the industry. This is not new, it has happened for centuries and centuries, and one example, one little thing that kind of brought me attention to this subject was hearing an interview by J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, book that I really love. And she was saying that when she released the book, her manager advised her to publish not with her full name, but with just initials, J.K. Rowling, and not Joanna Rowling. And I remember when I actually got the book when I was 10 years old, and we never honestly pay attention too much to the authors, we just want to read the book. But the fact is, I remember looking at the name in the book cover and saying, oh, a guy. And I always thought automatically that was a guy. I was a little surprised when I found out that actually was a female writer that wrote the book. So that's just one of the few examples of how much women have to deal with in all fields of the art, not only the music, but as you see, the writing, painting, and so on. During my studies when I was a kid and during my education, we talked a little bit about the women's rights throughout the time, but we never focused in classical music. I know Clara Schumann. Clara Schumann was the only artist that I knew because of Robert Schumann, and the relationship was such inspiring to the music world that we always hear about Clara Schumann, but never as a composer. Actually, it was this work and this research that I did for this project that I found more of her work as a composer. So for us to understand what was happening, and this project focusing for female composers during the 19th century, it's important to know what was happening in the 19th century and have a little bit the background, knowing the background about the history and how the music was being perceived during that time. The fact is, the 19th century was a really good year for music. We had the rise of the middle class, and with that the art just explodes hugely because with the middle class, they were looking for new music, commissioning new works. We had more performance venues such house concerts, so it was a really good. There was a really good space for the music to be developed, and we had so many composers just arising. Schumann, Brahms, Liszt, Chopin, Mendelssohn. So it was a really good year for music. Specifically for piano, regarding piano, it was the year of this instrument. The piano finally was setting up, as we know, the technology development was basically done, and so we had a new instrument that everyone was just wanting to explore and learn this instrument. Another thing is the music, and again with the rise of the middle class, the music becomes a huge part of the education. So with these families, they were always looking to have their kids learning music, playing an instrument, and just knowing music. Actually, I remember being a kid, and my mom always saying that a kid should know, learn how to speak French and play piano. And actually that comes from this century and this idea of having music in education. Now, talking specific about women, during this century, especially these families, these middle classes and upper classes, woman was supposed to be just a domestic figure. So they would just stay at home, they'll provide, they would help taking care of their children, dealing with the servants, and so their job per se was just being a domestic mom. They did learn music. They all these female composers that I'm going to talk about this project, they all learn music, not to pursue as a career, but just to have an education. So the problem starts, and the society starts to be not really supporting to their activity as musicians when they try to go to further develop their career. So instead of being just, you know, amateur sing, when they're trying to have the music as a profession, that's when the society just says you can't do that. Moreover, it gets worse when we have this idea when they want to try to write music. So, for example, Clara Schumann. Clara Schumann is interesting in her case because she was recognized as one of the best pianists in the time, and she did perform a lot throughout her life. This, for what I've read and researched, there was not much pressure against that side of her, but she always said she never pursued the writing as serious as she did performing. Although she wrote major works, and she did wrote a lot for piano and other ensembles. Now we have other cases like Fanny Mendelssohn that she was trying to develop her writing and her career as a composer, and in fact she didn't pursue that. Even her brother Felix Mendelssohn, which, you know, was a huge musician and he was really supporter of Fanny's musical talent, he never let her, or never approved of her trying to publish works with her name. So with this project, I want to show the work of these 4 female composers: Clara Schumann, Fanny Mendelssohn, Louise Farrenc, and Amy Beach, and just talk a little bit about their lives and how they developed as musicians, and how much struggle did they have to go through to develop their music skills and career. I hope you like this series, and if you do want to follow the next videos, please subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much.